What's going on, guys? Pretty interesting video for you today. We're actually going to be going ahead and rebuilding my QAV-S. Originally, I built this quad back in 2021 and followed Joshua Bardwell's ultimate freestyle build guide to the T. And here we are 4 years later rebuilding it because the stacks finally gave out. So I'll show you the parts that I'm going to be putting into it and we'll go on and get ahead with the build. So this quad did fly great, so I'm going to stick pretty true to the original build. It's going to maintain the same Caddx Vista. I'm not going to update it to an 04 or 03, just going to keep it true to what it was. And I'm also going to keep the same FPVCycle 25mm motors on this build. The only main thing that I'm switching out is originally it had a F7 Flight Controller and the iFlight 45 amps Success ESC, but we're going to be switching that out for a Hobbywing ESC and Flight Controller. So I know 65 amps is overkill, but basically with the way FPV in the United States is, this is all I could really get. I would have liked to put a 55 amp T-motor stack in, but I just couldn't get one, so I just went with what's available. I know it's overkill, but that's what we're going to use for this build. So when I build the quad, I like to go from the inside out. So the first thing I'm going to do is run my Caddx Vista, so this way I can have the camera cable underneath the ESC. Alright, sorry if not all of that was visible, but the VTX and camera is now installed. It's not the easiest frame to get into. Bardwell did change that in his version 2 frame, but now let's move on to the ESC and the motors. As you saw out of the box, the ESC had the capacitor laying down. So originally with this build, the capacitor was tucked down behind the camera, but because this is a 65 amp ESC, it's using a large capacitor, so it doesn't really fit. I could switch it out, but just for simplicity of the build, it already came pre-soldered. I'm just going to rotate the ESC 90 degrees and then stand it up to come out of the side. It's not really going to be an issue. I've done it before on builds, so that'll hold up pretty fine. And now we'll be able to get the motors mounted. Alright, so there we go. All 4 motors are mounted up. Next thing we're going to do is, I actually got LEDs, so we'll put the LEDs onto the arms and then we'll get to wire it to the ESC. So quick little change before we get the LED solder on. I did go ahead and change the VTX screws from M2x20s to M2x18s. Now we're going to go ahead and get the LEDs put on and then get the LEDs wired to the ESC. unfortunately the camera died while I was working on that last bit, but I managed to get the wires soldered to the LEDs and then the LEDs soldered to the motors. Next step is to trim down these wires and we'll get everything soldered down to the ESC. Alright, so motors are all soldered into the ESC. Now we could go ahead and plug our flight controller into the ESC and we can get that dropped on nice and easy. So this stack is a little more squished than the stack I previously had on here. So what I'll go ahead and do after this is probably just switch the stack screws out to shorter screws. But now we'll be able to wire in our ELRS, plug in our Vista, and we'll be pretty much good. So truth be told, it's going to drive me insane that the stack gummies are two different colors, but I didn't have black single stack gummies. We did go ahead and get the flight controllers gummies switched out to black though, and they're doubles, so it leaves a little more space between the flight controller and the ESC. And now I'll go ahead and get the ELRS receiver all paired up. Alright, so quad is almost finished, got it pretty much buttoned up, top plate on, which is a pain to get on this frame, but we got it done. All the motors are wired up. Pretty much the last steps are going to be soldering on the XT60 and just putting a little tape on the motor wires to neaten it up a little bit, and we'll be ready to plug it into beta flight and see what happens. So quad is 100% all together. Motors are taped up, top plate is on, ESC flight controller are fully set up. Important life lesson or a little reminder, I don't know if anybody noticed, but you see how those little gummies are now black instead of blue? Yeah, basically, don't be lazy, don't cut corners. Back when I was assembling the stack and I had to switch to the larger gummies for the flight controller, you know, I kind of just skipped over the ESC and was like, yeah, it doesn't really matter, those could stay blue, I'll just live with them being two different colors. Should have switched them then because the blue gummies were a little bit shorter, and after a long time of investigating, good thing I was plugging in with a smoke stopper, I had a short. That one little tiny chip was actually touching a press nut and causing the whole board to short out, but luckily I used a smoke stopper so we didn't just blow the whole ESC and flight controller. So that's fixed. One other little issue that I overlooked, of course, was the flight controller said it was plug and play with DJI, so of course I just plugged it in, thought it would work, and you know, it didn't actually work. So after a little digging, it wasn't plug and play. I had to repin the plug header, so that's all good, and now the quad is 100% good to go. So we can turn on the transmitter.
Welcome to HTX. Switch warning.
Plug in a battery. And just like that, quad is good. So next footage for you will be the very first flight. I do have to get it all pit tuned and everything, but I'll do that off camera because that's a pain and we don't want to sit through that. So I'll get the quad all pit tuned and you'll see the flight footage. So thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.